Hey, it's Don Skaggs again with Empowered Inventing, where we try to help you help other people by taking your great innovation, the right opportunity, mixing that with sound wisdom so you can turn them into real things like products and businesses. Now today I want to talk to you about fears that may be holding you back from your next step towards becoming successful with your invention, your product, your startup, your business. Because I see way too many inventors and entrepreneurs out there that wind up just getting paralyzed with fear. Their fear of taking that next step, a lot of times in their invention journey. And they kind of get stuck. Sometimes one of the places where I see inventors stuck most, and if we were really dig down into how, what was really behind them being stuck, it would actually be fears of certain things that would hold them back. And you've heard me say this so many times before. If I can get you to change how you behave with your invention, your startup, your business, then a lot of that nuts and bolts stuff that everybody teaches, which is a lot of times really good stuff, and we teach nuts and bolts stuff too, but the nuts and bolts stuff can a lot of times take care of itself if you get the behaviors right. If you get all the nuts and bolts stuff in your head, but you don't get the behaviors right, guess what? It'll crash and burn. So you have to kind of think of these things and face these things. And this is why so many times I try to get you to focus on your behaviors. Because if you fix the person you're looking at in the mirror, you will fix the progress of your invention. You won't grow until you grow. Your invention will never grow until you grow yourself. So anyway, and we teach a lot of the nuts and bolts stuff. We've got a program called Idea Steps. It's a great way to see those steps and to kind of understand, how do I get from here to here? But by these steps, and a lot of times the steps are not in the order you'd think that they would be in. But a lot of inventors will let fear drive those decisions, or sometimes they'll have them drive indecision, which is even worse. Teddy Roosevelt has a great quote out there. I love it. I've actually got it on the wall in my office. He says, in any moment of decision, the very best decision you can make is the right one. The second best decision you can make is the wrong one. And the absolute worst decision you can make is not making any decision at all. And that's so true. We become paralyzed. And a lot of times, if we really dug down, we'd find out that it's fears, underlying fears, that are holding us back from that next step. Now, what kind of fears am I talking about? Well, I've got 5 I want to talk to you about. One is fear of the unknown. And I'll hear this from so many inventors. They'll say, I just don't know what to do next. So they don't do anything. But you know what? There's an easy fix for that. It's acquiring the wisdom from people who have actually done it. Not people who've read a bunch of books or just have a whole lot of theories and that kind of, no, people have actually been in those trenches. They've got dirt on their hands from doing it. They've actually done it, and they've come out the other side successful. That is the ones you want to learn from and acquire wisdom from. There's a lot of great ways to do that. There's great inventor groups. The IGA, Inventor Groups of America, we're on there. The UIA, United Inventors Association. Both of those are great organizations. We belong to both of them in the Inventors Network, Kentucky. And you want to gain wisdom from the right people. Of course, we have our Empowered Inventing Academy courses as well, but learn from somebody. Or watch all I've got hundreds of videos now, I think, on YouTube, so watch our videos. We've got lots of good wisdom there. So don't let fear of not knowing what to do. You can master this, you can learn this, you can know what to do. So that's one fear. Another one is fear that you won't, and this one's a little complicated. This one's a little kind of hidden back there. Sometimes you never see this. Those are fears that you won't admit to yourself. And these are fears that breed procrastination. And a lot of times it's kind of a combination of all these other fears. But what ends up happening, and this is the tell, this is how you tell you've got one of these I won't admit this to myself fears, is that it breeds feature creep. Or it's like, oh yeah, that next step, yeah, I'm going to get to that. And it does this whole procrastination. You know what? I'm going to get to this thing, and a lot of times this is the prototype where people get stuck on the prototyping step, is they'll say, yeah, that market step where I want to kind of learn the market stuff, and really, again, the thing you're not admitting to yourself is I don't want to get out there and do that because I'm afraid of it. But you are, you'll stay paralyzed in a comfortable step. This is what happens. And again, I see this a lot in the prototyping process. And this is where feature creep starts to begin. This breeds feature creep. And that's where you put 100 buttons on a remote because you keep wanting to add one more button. I just want to, let me work on this a little more. Let me see if I can perfect this a little more. And while you're perfecting it for your expectations, you're not taking that next bold, scary step. There's the fear. You're not taking that scary step next to get into finding out what the customer really wants. Because a lot of people, for a lot of inventors, that's a big, scary next step. So don't hide those things from yourself by saying, I just want to perfect this. I just want to take let me take just some more time. This just didn't quite right. You'll be working on it forever, or until the market, the technology, and everything else has passed you by. So don't do that. Another fear is fear that you won't be any good at the next step. And, just like when your fear of not knowing what the next step is, your fear of not being good at it can be easily overcome by doing. And doing just takes lots of practice. If you throw a ball up in the air, and a lot of you have heard me say this a million times, if you throw a ball up in the air and you take a bat and you swing the bat at it, then you'll likely miss if you've never done it before. And you may try it another 100 times and you may still miss. But guess what? You do it enough times, you'll eventually start hitting that ball. And that's the same way. You've got to prepare and expect for those first 100 tries to be potentially bad fails. And be okay with that. Especially and true with the marketing piece. You don't call the big customers first. Call the little ones. Call the ones that aren't going to be really, really bad big no's. Because you're going to have to practice. You're going to learn. You're going to learn what they're going to say back to you, and it'll help you kind of hone that story and hone how you're talking to them, and you'll pick up on things. And you do it enough, you're going to learn these things, and you're going to get really good at it if you practice. So just practice and learn and become. If you practice, you'll become good at your next step. Now, another thing is a lot of times I'll see inventors, they've just got this fear that they can't trust anyone. And a lot of times you've been burnt by bad people before. And I get that. I understand that. There's a lot of really bad people out there that you can get burnt from. But don't think that means that everybody out there is going to burn you. No, find good people, again, that have done this successfully, and hang around those people. We always say there's three things. Three important things about inventing: people, people and wisdom, and the third thing that I'm suddenly blanking out on. Wisdom's really kind of the big one at the end there, the one you really want to do first. But people and diligence, that's it, of course. People, diligence, and wisdom, and that's where you practice. It takes diligence. You don't want to get up the next day and practice. So you have to have that. You have to be around people. You can't do this in isolation. So lastly, number 5 is fear that you'll just flat out fail. And like before, if you're preparing expect the fails. Embrace the fails. Failing is okay as long as they're not oh gosh, if I fail at this, I'll be broke. Or if I fail at this, this will be a catastrophic. Don't take catastrophic risks that result in catastrophic failures. Take the kinds of risks that, okay, I can dust myself off. This was this was tuition on my life lesson to get to this next step, and I've learned this. Fails are your teachers. So show up for class and embrace those fails. So anyway, if you're looking for more information on this, on how to get through the process, check out our website. We've got coaching, we've got courses that you can take at home or from your office called all at empoweredinventing.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you're watching it, like, subscribe, help us to build our tribe. And I will look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, maybe on one of our online courses, or on the next video.